But I think we should start with Baker Mayfield. Why not? Right? Let's start with Baker Mayfield, who had an interesting back and forth with a reporter earlier today.
Field goal at the end of the first half. It seemed like there was a lack of urgency there. There was something going on.
There was a penalty, so we were negative yardage.
But there was a lot of time between snaps.
Well, when the penalty happened, then we're behind the chains. No, stop saying but. I just told you the clock was running and we had a penalty. Do you want to give them the ball back? No, you don't play. You don't know it. That's just plain and simple. Was I happy with the drive? No, we didn't score points. It's the dumbest question you could ask. What? Jesus, Tony.
Obviously, and look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is the worst thing on earth. He walked away afterwards. He was obviously frustrated with the line of questioning. It was a dumb follow-up, were you happy with the drive sort of question. He clearly knows the reporter, and it's different. You know, how we take it is, boy, it really did sound, there was the I played, you didn't. It was condescending in answer. Jesus, like, what are you asking me? But that's supposed to be your internal monologue, not your external monologue. Do I think it's the biggest deal on earth? Like, no, I'm a reasonable human being. I don't think it's the biggest deal on earth. But this is kind of what we told you, kind of why we told you he should stay away from the tweeting back and forth at Colin Cowherd, why he doesn't have to take up every battle, why he doesn't have to comment and counter-comment on everybody else's thoughts. Because this is what he has to do on a daily basis. You want to be quarterback of any NFL team, you're going to have to answer questions. Your team's not playing well, people are going to ask you. And they're going to ask you from a perspective that they don't really understand the sport. They just don't. We don't really understand the sport like a football player does. We just don't. We should have a higher level, but there's no way that we can know all the different things that are going on. And of course, he also has to balance out, all right, what do I really tell this guy? What do they really want? Because there's a pretty good chance somebody screwed up, somebody doesn't know where they're supposed to be, and I can't sell them out, right? There's a lot that goes to it. But everybody wants to be this kind of, I want to be the center of attention. I'm different. I can take the negativity until you're thrust into it. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to take a breath and look people in the eye and go like, well, actually, you know, we're trying to not give the ball back. There's a lot of other factors in it. I'm trying to read the defense. We're doing this. We're doing that. Blah, 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 blah. Here's Baker Mayfield's tweets. Everybody wants to hear the truth until they actually get it. I am who I am, and I've always been. Don't call it emotional when it's convenient, and then passion when it fits. I care about winning, so yeah, I'm frustrated. If I was to act like it's okay to lose, then y'all would say I've gotten complacent. My sense of urgency is an all-time high, and I'm offended. And if I've offended anybody along the way, too bad. Like, what are you like? The job is hard enough, right? Like, the job is hard enough as it is. Do you really want to go like, hey, if you don't like the way I act, then I don't apologize. And I don't expect him to have to apologize. But it's just this persona that he doesn't, and I guess part of it is the team hasn't told him, like, this is just not the way. It's hard enough to lead 53 guys, 46 on game day into battle. It's hard enough to win in the National Football League. Man, that's a hard job. There's like 15 guys on the planet who are considered really good at it. 15 guys. 15 guys. There have been guys who, you know, I mean, these quarterbacks that get drafted and they don't do well in the NFL, they are generally athletes who have been good at everything their entire lives, and they've been a starter since they started playing football. Like, one of the things that makes Aaron Rodgers different is didn't start playing until 8th grade, wasn't a starting quarterback until late in high school, only had, didn't have scholarship offers, went to junior. Like, he's been told no, and that's driven him. But a lot of these guys, especially the ones that are stars in college, like they've just been great at everything they've done, and so they're just not used to any of the adversity. Baker's been through it. Baker's a little bit more Aaron Rodgers, although he had way more. He might have been a walk-on, but he actually had more scholarship offers than Aaron Rodgers did. He was a three-time Heisman finalist, did win the Heisman Trophy, was a number one overall pick. So there's plenty of people that told him he could play. But being quarterback is hard enough. Like, why do you want the added criticism? Why do you want the added attention? And if he didn't like how people are perceiving this, again, a lot of the perception is not just based upon the frustration and the walking away from a reporter's question, no matter how rudimentary the question may have seemed to answer. It's all of the other stuff that makes this into a big deal. It's obviously the thought that they could play with anybody. Like, look, he's the one who woke up saying, I woke up feeling dangerous, right? Like, this is a lot like Steph Curry yesterday. I pointed out that Steph Curry, and this is going back a couple nights ago, they win a game to beat the New Orleans Pelicans, and he's like, yeah, 24/7 news cycle, everybody trying to say we suck. Like, no, you guys actually said you suck. And then when we go like, hey, even they say they suck, they must be really bad. Suddenly we become the bad guys. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. Like, look, you were the ones who put no limits on your ceiling. You were the one who said, you're here for all the smoke. Now you get some, and you're like, dude, well, what are you doing? Why are you coming at me? Like, why and you get super defensive. I can't help you. Can't help you. Look around the NFL. You're not the only team that's struggling. Hell, Marcus Mariota's, they're thinking about trading him. They brought in other quarterbacks. They already benched him. Has he said a word? Not one. Not one. Think he's happy? No. Carson Wentz, dude's calling him out, unnamed sources, saying that a simple check down is good enough, and he's forcing the ball. He's trying to be too smart with it. Did Carson Wentz say anything when they were struggling? Nope. Kirk Cousins, when he was called out, he was just like, hey, sorry. He never once said, well, if we did play calling change, let me throw the ball downfield, or maybe if you went off the line of scrimmage. No. That's not the way the position is played. It's a position of leadership, and leadership sometimes is taking the blame even when it's not your fault. Leadership is answering dumb questions and making them seem like they're much smarter than they are. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the game. That's what we do. And you get Baker sitting here going like, nah, I do it my way. Like, all right, dude. There's an easy way and a hard way. You are intentionally choosing the hard way. And this is what the hard way feels like. No, my sense of urgency is an all-time high. What does your sense of urgency have to do with just answering a couple questions about last week's game? Baker Mayfield just making it harder on himself. The job, the sport, the position, hard enough. Don't need any help, dude. That position is hard enough.